Dustin, back to you off of what Taylor's saying. From a boots on the ground standpoint, introducing new technology to a sales team could possibly be the most dangerous thing anybody could do. So what is the reaction from the sales team on the implementation of a new technology, specifically with obviously one-click contractor? And just how do they take to it? And what are they saying? How long does that adoption take?
So currently doing it right now as we speak. I can speak real fond of it, and I can tell you from the first time. You always learn, but the thing I would tell you, it's not the song, it's the singer. Like before you release any technology, you have to do it in stages. Number one, you can't just throw it all out and have everything. My favorite lexiconic quote, right? If everything's important, nothing is. So you have to get in there and get them to test the waters. As the beta is going and it's being built out and the program is being built out, I think it's important to let them have a voice. So I've let them play around with project building tool. Like everyone in the business has the project building tool right now. So they're able to build projects and tell me where there's holes or mistakes. So we're catching the holes and mistakes before it gets in the home, right? And then it's getting them to practice to the point where I'm not going to say they can't get it wrong, but practice to the point of competency. So we know the first time they're using it's not the first time they're in the house because there's a 10 o'clock meeting. Hey, you got 11 o'clock appointments, go make it happen. That's typically what you see in the industry is people suck at preparation and they suck at announcing things, right? Like I'm big on, and I learned this from, unfortunately, some places I've worked is knee-jerk stuff creates knee-jerk responses, which creates fight or flight syndrome, right? So we don't want fight or flight. We need to make sure that, again, that we program it out. If I'm going to give hey, we're going live on this thing, July 1st, here's the steps in training we're going to provide before there to make sure that you're coherent. So when it gets in the field, you're there. Now, the one thing I did mention that weaponizes this is, let's say, Greg, you're one of my representatives. And let's say you're in a house and you're presenting something and you get stuck. And you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. All you got to do is text me, hey, Dustin, can you jump on real quick? I can digitally be from my desk and I can look at your live project on how you're bidding and presenting it right there. I can go in there from my iPad, make the changes, or my laptop, make the changes, save the changes, tell you to update, and now the correct project's in there. Wow. So it limits the mistakes and helps you as a manager weaponize and be everywhere at once. With the technology we have out right now, with the recording of the presentations, a lot of the analytics and data we can drive down to, now have the ability to not physically, but to literally digitally be inside the house with your representative, helping them make sure that they're making the commission they work so hard to get and are getting the profit that they have. I don't know how to say it any different, but it's a no-brainer. That's what I love about it, because again, we can manage the process, they can manage the system, and again, it takes the individual person out. So you got tech people, I call them, I'm not even going to say that word on this because it's been recorded, but I've got some, let's put it this way, there's IT and TI. I got some of those TI people that when it comes to technology, the total idiot. It's very tough to send them out with a tool, because what it does, it takes them off their game. Reps fail for three reasons.
Yes.
You got training, focus, and capability. And if their capability isn't strong in technology, well, then I have to have a safeguard or a fail-safe that's going to help them be successful, so they can still focus on their process and selling in the home and not on the tech. Because if you don't do it right, tech can be a distraction. But if you do it correct and you prepare right, then it becomes a weapon, not a downfall.
Yeah, introducing something to a sales team, that does create a fight or flight sensation, right? Putting it on a timeline that is not too far out, because, typically a sales force will not pay attention to it until it's close enough, right? Yeah. So having that tight, fast timeline where it's objective based, I think is powerful. Taylor, from your side, what do you see? Is Dustin doing it right? From the success that you've seen across the country, Is he a common, is this what most people do? Is he a high level? Is he high engaging? Just from a perspective of you're working with a lot of clients. You see people get onboarded the right way. You see people lose, right? You lose a lot of clients because obviously the product is a home run. It's a matter of failure to launch, failure to adopt. Like, where do you rank, Dustin with what he's done and his mentality towards it? And then what are you seeing across the board? Why do people not have the success that Dustin has with one-click contractor?
Yeah, I love that question. And, Dustin does it as well as or better than anybody that we work with. He does a phenomenal job. As he said, so much of it comes down to communication and planning and making sure that you execute on that plan and that you're realistic about how that plan is going to roll out, get everything done in a timely fashion. And, Greg, you've probably implemented new software products where you didn't have a lot of support and you're trying to, you're like, hey, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a developer. And you've just been left to flounder and try to figure things out on your own. And that's a really tough place to be. And that's where most of our customers are, is that they see a cool product, they see a really neat whiz-bang platform, and it does things that they need. But if they have a hard time getting it implemented, because they've got a day job, right? They've got to be selling roofs or siding or windows or bathrooms. That's job number one, is closing those deals. And, what we do at OneClick to try to make that a much, much easier, more achievable task is that we invest significantly in our customer success team. So we've got a great team. I'm biased, but I think I'm right that they're the best in the industry. And again, Dustin has worked with some of these folks and has good relationships with them because they take good care of it, and it really matters to us. And so we're going to build your price list. We're going to take your logo. We're going to take your contract language, and we're going to build your instance of OneClick so that it's ready to go. We do that for you. And then we're going to provide training for your representatives and for your admins, for your executive team, anybody that needs to have access to OneClick Contractor. We provide that training, and we make sure that it's very effective and good training. And we actually have a 1-click, 1 month promise. And so it's basically a money back guarantee that if we don't get you up and running within 1 month of having all of the information that I mentioned, you can get your money back. We've had nobody take us up on that, but it's a way for us to show our commitment to taking care of our customers and getting them off on the right foot.
Yeah, I mean, it's powerful. I remember when I first started looking at it, is like, okay, we got to get you what? Like, just from like one of you said you have a day job, right? It's like you have not only a day job, you have like 10 day jobs. And then if you have a family too, it's like to add in this overhaul. It just looks like the mountain is so high. When I first looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I know it's going to pay off. I know it's going to go good. But then we got to keep it updated. Then we got to give, bring all this information. Information is only good that comes out of it is if the information is good going into it. Everybody knows that. So, it's frustrating. So I think people don't go with OneClick or integrate this technology because the mountain's so big. It's like, you know what, we're doing okay right now. So why do we need to rock the boat to get this advantage for down the road when it just seems like there's a lot that goes into it, just from an outsider's perspective? But also I'm looking and having conversations with a lot of CEOs and leaders of major companies in the home improvement space. And all of them have made the time commitment to invest in technology that will make them better. That's why one of our key factors in, our ranking system is innovation. If you're not moving forward, you're going to get run over. Somebody's going to come from behind, right?